and welcome back to Stories for the Future. This episode is going to be a little different, shorter, and only me, no guest, because before I bring in more guests, more themes, more technology, I've been asking myself this: what do I actually want this season to do? Not just what I want it to be about, not just which topics are interesting, not which guests would be impressive or interesting for you to listen to, but what do I hope happens in you, in me, and in the conversation we have and how we move forward. You know, I'm very interested in the energy debate, both because of my own background as a geophysicist in oil and gas, but also because it is so crucial for everything we build our society on. If you follow the energy debate yourself in Norway, in Europe, globally, you'll recognize a pattern. We say we want transition, but we often mean my version of the transition. We talk about speed, we talk about realism, we talk about morale, we talk about jobs and urgency, and very often we talk past each other. Sometimes we talk about collaboration as if it means rowing in perfect sync. Same rhythm, same timing, same muscles, ideally no splashing. And I just wrote a piece on this on Substack. You can find it on viklavnes.substack.com about collaboration and how maybe we could look at it in a slightly different way. Because real collaboration doesn't look like a rowing team. It looks more like rafting. We're in the same river, but we're motivated by different things. We carry different fears. We have different ideas about speed, risk, what realism actually means. Some of us want to map the river first. Others are already halfway down the stream. So collaboration isn't about moving identically. It's about staying in the raft even when we paddle differently. To me, the image of the rafts in the river with people paddling at different speeds, taking different risks, and moving down the river in very different ways is a good picture of how I think about the energy transition. And this will also be the basis of how I try to structure this season, bring in different rafts, different paddlers, different reasons for being in the river in the first place. So here's what I want this season to do. First, I want to increase our tolerance for complexity, because any transition is complex and the energy transition is definitely complex, and pretending it's simple doesn't make it faster. It just makes it more hostile. Second, I want to create space for conversations in tension. Not debates, not polite agreement either, and not these harsh or common argument wars that I often see, but real conversations across difference without turning disagreement into moral failure or finger pointing, shame and blame. And third, I want to connect the inner work with the outer work, because installing new technology is one thing, shifting systems is another, but how we show up, our mindset, our fear, our identity, our assumptions, that is also really important, and it shapes everything else. I'm part of this leadership program this year with Sea Change, a Norwegian Oslo-based company that works with something called the 3 spheres of transformation: the practical, the political, and the personal. And what it means for this project or for the energy transition in general, I think is this: if we only change the technology but not the systems, or we change the systems but not the mindset, the transition won't hold. We need all 3. And this season will try to weave that thinking in without becoming a lecture or something. And I will try to combine both solo episodes with more technical deep dives and make it interesting and maybe open our minds a little bit. So here's how I'm thinking about the structure going forward. Each month we'll focus on one concrete theme, a technology, a solution, a real piece of the transition. Geothermal was our first. I just had that episode last week. Next month might be something entirely different. I haven't landed. I have some ideas, but we'll see. And I'm very, very open to suggestions from you. There will be a deeper conversation with someone who actually knows what they're talking about in these episodes. So my last one was with Stian Engebretsen, who's a enthusiast and an expert in geothermal energy. And we will focus on the realism, constraints, trade-offs, that it's complex as everything else, and it's no easy fix, no silver bullet. Then I'll host conversations across difference, people who don't see everything the same way, and that this part of this season is maybe the one I'm a bit worried about, but I'm looking forward to it. We won't try to force agreement, but we'll try to explore what a real disagreement actually is, and also where we can find common ground and common goals. I'll also share shorter solo episodes like this one, but with different topics, reflections, questions, maybe small challenges, things I'm wrestling with myself, and narratives that I'm questioning, and also that I will ask you to maybe be aware of. Moments where I catch myself slipping into this narratives like either or, right, wrong, us, them thinking. And then, if you're part of Creative Space, I have talked about this many times. Creative Space is this community that I'm a part of for solopreneurs, coaches, and creatives working on a topic or a project which is related to either the IDGs, the Inner Development Goals, or the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, or both. I really do care deeply about the people doing this work, the ones trying to build something meaningful without burning out or becoming cynical, perhaps. So occasionally I'll also spotlight people who are working at the intersection of inner development and outer impact, the SDGs and the IDGs, because energy transition isn't just infrastructure, it's people. And that is really, really important to me. I do not want this podcast to become any louder, bigger. Like I'm not focused on growth for the sake of growth. I want it to become a little bit braver, perhaps. Braver because I think nuance is very important and often forgotten, and also braver in staying in the conversations that feel slightly uncomfortable. And also braver in saying, I don't know, and be okay with that. And if this season works, I hope we end up a little less certain, a little more curious, and a little more capable of building something together. I would definitely love your input. Who should I speak with? What topics are we oversimplifying, perhaps, that are complex? Where do you feel the tension most strongly right now? Please send me a message. Reply wherever you're listening from. I think most podcast apps make it possible for you to send a message, but also if you're listening on Fountain, the Fountain app, it's very easy to have a conversation and be part of the community. You can also reach out on Substack or LinkedIn, because this season is something that we are building together, and your input is really, really important to me. So to sum up, here is my ask to you. Send me a message, suggest a guest, challenge a narrative perhaps, tell me where you disagree. You can reach me through Stories for the Future on Substack, which is viklavnes.substack.com. I will put the link in the show notes. Or you can connect with me on LinkedIn or on my website, storiesforthefuture.com. And if you haven't already done so, follow or subscribe wherever you are listening. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, stay curious, and I will be back soon.